Hello, everyone. This is Tracy McGoy with Carib Compass Travel and Wellness, and I wanted to record this hopefully short video to let everyone know about our upcoming cruise for Mother's Day of 2019. So, first thing I want to go over is how to sign up. So, there are a couple of ways you can sign up for the cruise. The cruise is posted on Eventbrite. You can also find it on Facebook. So if you go to my page on Facebook, you can actually go over to events and find the event in the list. And they are in date order. So this is in May. It leaves May 10th of 2019. So you can click on it and you can read through all the details. You can pay directly on Facebook. Um, you can pay on Eventbrite. You can call me. My contact information is on my page here. If you have any questions, you can also email. You can messenger on Facebook. Any of those ways are a good way to contact me to get more information or to sign up for the cruise. Know that if you pay through Eventbrite or Facebook, there is a fee. That is added to the deposit. So if you want to avoid the fee, you just call me directly. Also, if you just note that you're interested, then you will get updates when I post updates to this particular event. So once you sign up, I will send you a confirmation email, pretty much acknowledging that you have signed up, that you've paid the initial deposit, which right now is $50 per person. And then in the email, I will include a link that tells you that you can use to track your balance. So this is what it will look like, and depending on how many guests you have. So if you sign up 3 people and they're all in the same cabin and you're paying for all 3 people, then all 3 of you will be on the same invoice. If you're all in different cabins, then they will receive a separate invoice. Or if you're in the same cabin but each one is paying their own fare, then each person will still get a separate invoice to track their payments and their balance. So this is what I call the status invoice. You will also receive a monthly payment invoice that you can use to make a payment. It's really just a reminder that a payment is due. I'm pretty flexible. You can pay anytime within that month. If, for whatever reason you need to skip a month, that is fine. Just know that final payment is due March 1st, 2019, and we'll go from there. I do tend to call people if I see there's a couple months with not getting a payment, so you may hear from me with a phone call or email, but really there's no pressure. Just we always want to keep that final due date in mind when we making payments. So this is the primary page of the invoice. It'll just have the date, your name, the guest name will be filled in right here. It'll tell you which cruise you're on, what cabin category you've chosen. Um, the rates are subject to change until a cabin is assigned. So even though you've paid the $50 per person deposit, Carnival requires that a cabin not be assigned until everyone has reached the full deposit amount in payments. So for this cruise, it's $100 per person. So if there are 3 people in a cabin, payments would have to total $300 before we can assign you a cabin. The second tab is where we log your payments. So when you make a payment, I will go in, I'll put the date I received it and the amount, and it's automatically calculated at the bottom to total up your payments. And this amount is automatically subtracted over here, and then this will show you your balance due. So this is how the invoicing works. It's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions about when you last paid or what you owe, you can always go back to the confirmation email and click on this link, and this will always be the most current information for what you owe on your cruise. All right, so now we're going to talk about the ship. We'll be sailing on the Carnival Liberty, and it is a Conquest class ship. So if you've ever sailed on ships like the Victory or the Conquest, the Glory, this is a similar ship in size to that particular ship. The Carnival Liberty will sail from Port Canaveral, which is near Orlando. And I just want to show you some of the features of the ship. This is some of the sizing information and how many guests it holds. So it's a fairly large ship. There'll be a lot of people on there, especially during Mother's Day weekend. Now, for those of you who have particular preferences for a cabin, this is where you will come to actually choose your cabin. So when you reach that point where we can assign you a cabin, I will call you. It'll be about a 30-minute call so we can go through some questions and go over different locations. But this is where you will find the deck plans. So if you're in an ocean view, you're going to be on deck one or deck two. Um, if you're in a balcony, that's six and up. Interior cabins are on one, two, six, seven, eight, nine. They're on just about every cabin except the ones in the middle, which are the common areas and where everyone kind of congregates for events. So this is where you would do that if you have a particular preference for a location. I will, of course, make those recommendations for people that have never sailed on this particular ship before. So someone asked about whether food was included. You get most of your food included on a, a Carnival cruise. Guy's Burger Joint serves mostly burgers um, and French fries. So you can go. They have a pretty simple menu. You choose one patty or two, cheese or no cheese. They have a toppings bar, so you can customize it the way you want to eat it. The Blue Iguana Cantina is kind of like a little Mexican, um, I guess, food tent. Um, and you can get tacos and quesadillas, and they have a breakfast burrito that's really good. Seafood Shack is also on this ship, and this is one that I've never actually um, been to. So this is be my first time on a ship that actually has this particular venue. The dining room is complimentary, so that's where you will go primarily for dinner in the evenings for like a sit-down dinner where you are actually served by a waiter or waitress. The dining room also serves breakfast and lunch. So if you want to be served and you don't want to be bothered with standing in line to get a burger or standing in line at the buffet, then you go to the dining room for a sit-down meal. The steakhouse is not included, so if you go to the steakhouse, there is a charge for that per person. That does not include alcohol. So pretty much unless you've purchased a drink package, alcohol is not included in the cost of the cruise. And the steakhouse is also not included. That is a paid restaurant that you have to make a reservation for. The Lido is actually what we call the buffet. Just about everybody that's taking a cruise calls it the buffet. So that's where you go upstairs to the Lido restaurant, and there's a buffet, there's salad. There's usually a theme every day. So you can you can choose what you want. You can sit down, kind of a serve yourself type establishment. Um, Sea Day brunch is brunch in the dining room. The hours are extended. I'm not sure we will have that on this cruise because the cruise is so short, but I'm thinking it probably will be that Sunday, which is the only sea day on this cruise. The Mongolian wok is another free option that you have, which is kind of like customized stir fry. So you tell them what you want in your stir fry, and they will make it for you right there. The barbecue is another complimentary offering. They have limited hours on every cruise, so we will know what the hours are for this particular one when we board the ship. The coffee bar is not included. These are, um, you get coffee in the dining room for free. You get coffee in the Lido restaurant for free pretty much all day. If you go to the coffee bar, these are the premium coffee drinks, and you will be charged extra. So a good rule of thumb on a cruise is if they ask for your CPAS card when you request something, there's a charge for it. So onboard activities. There's a lot to do on this ship. There's quite a few bars. The Red Frog is on the Lido deck, right next to the pool, so it's easy to walk over and get a drink, or there are servers walking around. You can just request one from your lounge chair. The Punchline Comedy Club is an evening, usually in the evening, comedy show, and they have usually an adult show and a family-friendly show each night. Suicide Sea is for the kids, so that's a part of the kids camp, which is also right here, Camp Ocean. The water slide is all part of the pool area on the Lido deck, so it's kind of built in over the pool, so you can just slide down from the slide into the pool. Hasbro is one of the shows that they put on at night in the theater. I'm not sure we're going to see it on this cruise because the itinerary is so short, but we shall see when we get on the ship and get a hold of the schedule. There's an adult-only retreat, so if you want a break from a lot of kids running around, and I don't expect that we will have that many, because this cruise is during a time of year when kids should be in school. But just in case there is, you can always go to the adult-only retreat to kind of relax and get away from the noise. There's a sports bar, so if there's any sporting events going on while we're on the ship, you'll be able to watch it there. The Alchemy Bar is a specialized bar where they serve premium cocktails. Actually, some of them are very good. I've tried a few. The Blue Iguana Tequila Bar is kind of like the Mexican version of the Red Frog Rum Bar. So these are across from each other on the Lido deck. Again, alcohol is not included. So the Alchemy Bar, Tequila, Red Frog, Skybox. If you go there and order alcohol, if you order alcohol anywhere on the ship, unless you have prepaid for a package, you will be charged for it. All right, so the itinerary. Um, so first I'm going to show you the where we leave from Port Canaveral over here. So the nearest airport will be Orlando International, and you can see it's still quite a bit of a drive over to Port Canaveral. If you are driving to the port, 95 is one way to get there. We've also gone down 4 into Orlando and then just gone over. Um, Orlando is a pretty family-friendly area. There's a lot to do there. Disney's there, Universal's there, SeaWorld is there. So if you want to come in like a day or two before the cruise and kind of hang out in Orlando, that is perfectly fine. Um, I will be sending out like hotel options for people depending on what they want to do. We'll have a group of rooms blocked in Orlando and Port Canaveral. It just kind of depends on where people are planning to go, and airfare also is something that we can get a group rate on if we have enough people. So airlines will usually offer group rate for groups of 10 or more. Sometimes 20, depends on the airline, but everybody in the group has to be on the same flight. So this is not a thing where you can just kind of pick when you want to go. If you want to get the group rate, everybody has to agree to be on the same flight there and back. If you're driving and you come down 95, Titusville is a good place to stop. It's very close to the Kennedy Space Center, which would be a good activity to do on your way to the port. For people that are flying in, we will have arranged transportation. This is all at the extra cost because at this point we're only coordinating the cruise. We don't really know enough to kind of add in transportation and hotels. So that's all going to be separate once we get those details worked out with the people that have signed up. So just to give you an idea of the distance from Orlando to Port Canaveral. So once you fly into Orlando, we will have a way to get over there to Port Canaveral. You are welcome to figure this stuff out on your own. If you've been to Port Canaveral before, you've sailed from it, you've been to Orlando, you know what to do when you want to do a certain thing, you are welcome to go ahead and plan it on your own. But we will offer those services to anyone that needs them. All right, so let's go over the itinerary and then I will be done. So this is what we are doing. We are doing the 3-day from Port Canaveral. And our itinerary is, the website's a little slow here. Is so day 1, we're going to leave from Port Canaveral about 4. I believe this was ours. The other overnight in Nassau. So we're doing May 10th. So I'll click on learn more. Alrighty. Let me change the sailing date so that I am not confusing anyone. So this would be 05/10/2019. Alrighty. Okay, so this is our actual itinerary right here. You see it's just a weekend cruise. We leave on a Friday, we return on Monday morning. We stay overnight in Nassau. So when I scroll down, you'll see the itinerary here. We depart Port Canaveral at 4. I always recommend that everyone arrives the day before. So, if you're close by, like we live near Atlanta, so we have just driven down, gotten in the car at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and driven down to Port Canaveral, and we've made it there in plenty of time. But if you're coming from further away, you should plan to be there the day before, and especially if you're flying, you should plan to be there at least by the day before, so that if anything goes wrong, we have time to adjust. So after we leave, there will be in Nassau the next morning, which will be Saturday morning. We will stay in Nassau overnight, and we will leave Nassau at 7 a.m. So if you want to get off the ship at night and enjoy the nightlife in Nassau, you can do that. I would not recommend that you just wander around in Nassau because it's like any other place we visit. It can be dangerous depending on where you are. Um, so you probably should have that stuff kind of prearranged. Where am I going to go? How am I going to get there? Not just be off the ship wandering around. A lot of stores don't open at night. They still close at their normal time. So if you're planning to shop at night, that's not really going to be feasible. Now, if you go to Atlantis, which is right here in the background, they probably will have things open like the casino, maybe some nightclubs, some stores. So that might be a good place to visit at night to kind of take in the nightlife there. You must be back on the ship before it leaves at 7 a.m. because it will not wait for you. And then after that, our last day, which is Sunday, we will be at sea. So we'll be sailing back to Port Canaveral. And that will be the day that we'll have some of the events that we've advertised. Details of that will come later once we get that worked out with Carnival. But this is our itinerary. It's very simple weekend cruise, so not too much stress for everyone. It's a nice weekend getaway that we can all go and enjoy. So we've already gone over this stuff. We will have a group excursion offered in Nassau. Again, that's an extra cost. So all that will be communicated when we do these things as a group. It it lowers the cost for everyone. So that's why I prefer to do group events because we use the number of people we have and we can negotiate discounts with vendors and pay much more than or pay much less than we would pay on our own. So that is all I have to go over for the cruise. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email me, post a comment in the event on Facebook, call. I am always available if I don't answer the phone, which I usually don't because I get so many spam calls. It's really difficult to tell what's legitimate and what's not. You can leave me a voicemail and I will call you back. You can also text the number and I will text you back. And that is overview of the cruise. I'm sure it's been a little long, but I wanted to be as detailed as possible. So I hope to see you on board.